In the esport world, speed, assuming it comes with accuracy, is a great skill to have. But us, casual gamers, can find it very limiting and extremely frustrating. How am I supposed to beat a 15-year-old that clicks faster than I blink? And that is one of the reasons why multiplayer RTS games have been on the decline over the past decades. As strategies get more figured out and as the meta develops, speed becomes more relevant. And that was the case for StarCraft, which requires a lot of micro in order to outplay your opponents. But in my opinion, it's not the case for Age of Empires 2. Even though that's a controversial opinion, at least according to Reddit, I will try to prove you in the next 10 minutes that even a slow player can be a good Age of Empires 2 player. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. He was born in 1985 and since 2002, which is basically when the Age of Empires 2 Pro scene started, he's been in the top 10 worldwide. At the age of 36, he beat everyone in a major tournament. People call him the Lord and he definitely is a fan favorite. Let's talk about Darko Dautovic.
If you asked me 5 years ago how long I will be competing, I would say 5 more years. And those years passed and give me 5 more. I was thinking I would stop competing a long time ago. I always think I have 1 or 2 more years in me. And again, I think I have at least 2-3 more years in me. Hopefully, it never ends.
Darko, known as DauT Online, is slow. Still faster than most of the population, but slow compared to the 999 other players in the top 1000. How is that possible, you wonder? Because he's a genius, and I mean it. Not only he has the deepest understanding of the game out of all of the pro players, but he's also an extremely creative mind. As he says himself, sometimes a strategy clicks, which given the context of this video is pretty funny, but the truth is smarter is better than faster. He knows that he won't react as fast as the other pros, so what does he do? He anticipates. He doesn't have the speed to win microfights, so what does he do? He plans ahead. He makes sure every one of his clicks matter, and he spends his attention where it's the most needed. If he loses 2-3 archers, he doesn't care. His long-term plan is better. And no one is perfect. In Age of Empires 2, everybody makes mistakes, and he takes advantage of those. But if you're not convinced, let's look at another example.
Get in there, fishing ship! Get the fuck in there, fishing ship! Let's fucking go! Fishing ship, you're my fucking friend, dude! I love you!
He is from Canada and was born in 1990, but he's not a pro player. He's a very good player, probably in the top 3% of the ranked players, so around 1800 elo, but he's known for being a caster. His name is Dave Butchett. And what is interesting is that long before AoE 2 was ported to Xbox, Dave decided to play with a controller. It made for some very fun content, but I agree it is sometimes painful to watch.
Did I land on my own fucking island?
But that really minimized the impact of speed in general. It's close to a perfect example of why speed doesn't matter. Dave knows everything there is to know about the game and has a solid sense of strategy. But because he's playing on a controller, he doesn't have speed. That forced Dave to out-strategize every one of his keyboard and mouse opponents. And sometimes he didn't even need to out-strategize, he just needed to not fall apart. And as I mentioned, people make mistakes. For a pro player, it's small mistakes, but at the mid to low level, it can be game losing. It's interesting to look at his progression because this is probably where he was struggling to use his controller, but once he got the hang of it, he started climbing. Very similar to how a new RTS player would experience Age of Empires 2 in fact, with one big difference. A new player would need to learn how RTS works, while learning about the specifics of Age of Empires 2. Imagine you're playing a new shooter game, you already know how to move in 3D and at the first-person view, so you start directly learning about the game's mechanics, guns, and specific maps. But because RTS is a way less popular genre, new players first need to learn that to move a unit, you need to select it and click it where you want it to go, that to move the camera, you need to pan up, down, left, and right, or you can click on the minimap, or you can double-click on the control group. It's just very complicated at first. And on top of that, you need to learn about a game that doesn't just have 20 guns and 4 maps. No, you need to learn about a game that has 40 different civilizations, 100 different units, and even more different maps. But I digress. We were talking about Dave. Guess what elo he reached with his controller? 1500. Top 10% of the ladder. With strategy only. Well, I say only. His speed isn't 0, but let's face it, everyone with a mouse and a keyboard can play faster than him. And for our last example, we have possibly the ultimate experience. The Viper, who I shouldn't need to introduce to you anymore, but if I do, just know that he's the GOAT of Age of Empires 2, challenged himself to play with an APM limiter.
Actually, I have to sacrifice you.
So what is APM? It stands for action per minute. It's the number of clicks on your keyboard and mouse you make during a minute. Beginners will have around 50 actions per minute, but pros can go up to 400 or 500. And what is an APM limiter? Well, it's simply a program that will make sure you cannot go over the limit you set it to. The Viper chose 60 as it represents something anyone can achieve with a bit of experience. So his APM limiter would only let him click once per second. But if he didn't click for a little bit, he could bank up to 10 clicks. That is just to smooth the game flow instead of having to wait exactly 1 second between two actions. Okay, so let me recap. We have the most knowledgeable person in the game, and we artificially make him slow. Is it still good? Absolutely.
Shit. God, this goes way too slow already.
After winning his 10 placement games, he started climbing pretty fast, breaking 1300, then 1400 and 1500, and in 33 games he reached 1660 elo, which is the top 5% of the players. And he didn't try to play cheesy or all-ins, which, as he stated himself, could push him a bit higher, but each of the 5 losses he got was above 1600 elo. And with that, he proved that he didn't need speed to reach a good level, only game knowledge. And if you're thinking, wait, then the title of this video is a lie, speed does matter since LimitedViper's level isn't quite as high as Viper's true level. Well, I'm trying to prove that you don't need to be fast to be a good player, but the thing is, everyone has a different definition of a good player. And if to you, top 5% isn't good enough, just remember that for 90% of the player base, it probably is. That said, I do agree, at the highest level, speed matters. So what's the conclusion? Age of Empires 2 is a complex game, and there is a lot to learn about the civilizations, the unit, the counter units, the maps, the different bonuses, and even more. But if you feel stuck at a certain level, it's unlikely that speed is the issue. Try to learn different styles, strategy, and have fun doing it. Your elo is just a number and doesn't fully represent your level. The more you play and challenge yourself, the better you will get. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the tons of support I've been getting. Subscribing and watching is already plenty enough, but if you'd like to go the extra mile, I've set up a Patreon. It's $5 per month and you get some extra benefits and perks like watching full-on interviews, getting access to videos earlier, and getting a say in which topics we get to cover in the next videos. The link is down below, and again, thank you so much for watching.